Spatchcock Funk is in the house, our house, and your house too. You know where the party's at? Wherever you're at. We're gonna teach you how to throw the best parties, the best dinners, the best get-togethers. All you need is the people you love, and we'll take care of the rest. Spatchcock Funk. Dope food, strong drinks, great stories. Work hard, play hard. Easier said than done. We're seasoned vets at partying, both at work and out of it. Work can be fun and feel really good if you do it right with the right people. Like those cheesy posters on the office wall say, we actually do give 110%. So clear your calendar and holler at your work friends. We're gonna lay out the do's and don'ts of the healthy workplace and the ultimate office ripper. We've raised a ruckus in an office or two, so we're writing a report with tips to get you the inside track, some to help your career, and some with intel to throw a work party they're gonna have to put in your permanent record. We've seen people get fired or promoted from their performance at an office party, so we're here to take you to the top. From annoying coworkers, horrible bosses, and pointless, endless meetings, we've seen it all. We're cracking the code on improving your life at work and out of it. Like an Excel sheet, we don't want any borders. Let's get wild. Time to clock in. This is not safe for work. Per my previous email. Don't you hate that when people send that? Or do you love it when you send it? Because I will too sometimes if they haven't read it. So this is Timecard Punch. We originally wanted to call it Punch Your Boss. Actually, Nick wanted to, but that doesn't work because I'm the boss. Seriously though, this drink is how you set a party up, and you want to have an office party rage. And that's where things get interesting. So we'll get into that in a second. Let's get into the drink first. We're gonna mix it up like this. This is a punch that you can batch that'll go for a while, and it's awesome. The most powerful ingredient, vodka. Equal parts vodka, beer, a domestic light beer we prefer. Then we're gonna put in 1 can of pink lemonade frozen concentrate. Same amounts club soda, water. Then a little bit more lemon lime soda. Take a whisk and whisk it until all of the lemonade itself is broken up. And you want to get it really good and evenly mixed. Some people's concern about drinking at office parties is the so-called office hookup, and let's talk about that. There are a couple rules on dating coworkers, and most workplaces actually have coworkers that date. I worked with my wife while we were together, and maybe I've dated other coworkers too, prior to that, of course. So here's the rule though, right? Never date someone that reports to you or that you report to. You wanna make sure that there's no leverage over them, and then you can have a healthy relationship. Otherwise, it can get a little bit sketchy, and we try to avoid that for the most part. So we got this mixed up, and you can keep making larger batches of this as you go. We're gonna take a pitcher that we filled half with ice, then we're gonna throw in a couple lemons. It also works great in a punch bowl, just like you're punching your time card. But if you want a punch and chance at an awesome office party, this is the way to go. Calling in late tomorrow, bro. If you don't want anyone to dip out of your office party, bring a dip, y'all. And this dip is a killer. French onion dip. Now you can buy it in the store, you know, creamy, and that's fine. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But this one, you will never want to have another French onion dip in your life. It's a game changer. We make it a bunch of different ways, but this one goes to a party and brings down the house. And sometimes, let's face it, some office parties go crazy. I've seen one before where one of our friends did the typical lampshade thing, thinking he was funny, then he fell off the table. I've seen a woman try to dance on the table, fall off. I know that other people have gone to the bathroom off the side of a building before. Things go wild, right? This dip ramps things up. When you have dishes that star an onion, the best one to use is the caramelized onion. So French onion soup uses it. This dip definitely uses it. So what we did was take 2.5, 3 onions, chop them up into rings, throw them into a pan with some extra virgin olive oil, unsalted butter. Sometimes we put sugar on it. In this case we did, not always though. And keep stirring them for about an hour until they start to get this brown caramel-like complexion and they get this sugary sweetness. So that we're gonna put into our pan, or our bowl, I mean. Break it apart a little bit so they can get it into every little bite. We're gonna add in the cheeses that get awesome on it. So we have a big ol' brick of brie, also a room temp brick into cubes of cream cheese. So that gives us a good creamy base to it. We also have Gruyere, shredded Gruyere. And it's a sharp cheese that really brings a lot of different things into it. It kind of is like cheddar's fancier European friend, like call him Gustav or something. We'll put in a bunch of shredded parm too for some salty, cheesy goodness. Then sour cream, more of the creaminess. Just like the dip you buy in the store, which is basically sour cream with onion mix in it. And then mayo, another great dip ingredient. We're gonna mix it up a little bit and then we're gonna add in our spices. So you guessed it, onion powder, some garlic powder, a little bit of crushed red pepper. Now crushed red pepper again won't make this spicy, but it's gonna bring out all the fatty saltiness of everything else. A mix of salt and pepper, some fresh thyme, it's about time. And then a little bit of balsamic vinegar. The tartness, again, makes this thing work. So we're just gonna keep on stirring it into a really good, even, mixed up paste looking thing. All mixed up, set it aside. We've got a cast iron skillet we've already sprayed with cooking spray. You can cook this in foil, in glass, in ceramic. We like the cast iron because it's tough. And you know we like things that go metal. The other stuff though, you can make the day before. Cast iron, don't leave something in that overnight because it's just not good. Then take your spatula and spread it evenly. You might see some of the cubes of the brie still kind of together. That's okay. It's gonna melt evenly when we get in here. But try to spread it as evenly as you can with your spatula. We're gonna heat our oven to 350. Put it in there for 20 minutes. Then take it back out and hit it with some more Gruyere cheese, maybe some Parmesan if you want. And we're also gonna hit it with some parsley and then put it back in for 10, 15 minutes till it starts to melt evenly. And then let it sit out for 10 minutes so all it can congeal. And congeal typically is a thing that sounds gross, but it's not all the time. It's actually when things start to settle when they're gooey and make a more even distribution of the flavor and the creamy, fatty goodness. Wow, this is how a dip is supposed to work. Speaking of work, if you can't impress your boss with the quality of the work you're doing, you can impress them by bringing in some baller food. It saved a few people a few jobs. This one too. We're gonna hit a little bit of fresh parsley because it just looks cool with the brighter green with the baked in parsley too. And I like that. We're gonna take a crostini, scoop ourselves out, a little bit of this cheesy French onion goodness. The onions are worth the work and the time, just like your career, so put your time into it. If you don't take yourself seriously, nobody else will either. When it comes to throwing parties, we're stone cold champions. It's like we got ice in our veins, baby. We want this party to jump and have a really bright center of attention, besides me that is. So we're gonna start things out by getting us an ice sculpture, y'all. Yo, Stan, what's up, dude?
Hey, how you doing?
Great, man. So look, we need some advice and some help. We're throwing a banger office party that we want to totally get out of control, and we're thinking an ice sculpture might help us with that, but wanted to get your input because you're the expert.
Oh man, how about an ice luge? We do them all the time for fraternities and different parties like that. It really kicks it up. People get drinking and having a great time.
Well, you speak my language because I like to drink and have a great time. Ice luge. So how do you make this thing?
We start with a chainsaw.
Fire it up. I love chainsaws.
So that's it. You want to do one?
Let's do it. Hell yeah.
You aced it.
You know what, Stan? I know the perfect sculpture we want.
All right, let's do it.
Awesome. There are some things in every office that drive us all crazy. Company-wide meetings, come on, man, just send an email. But one of the things that everyone loves, chili. For a chili cook-off, this Cookoff Chili does it. But we're about making offices inclusive, y'all, safe spaces. So some of the people at our party, they don't like to eat pork, beef, nothing with hooves on it, right? Or paws, I guess, for that matter. So we're making a chicken chili. And chicken chili can be difficult because of the flavor profile. Chicken can get a little bit mild and not as juicy and fatty. So we're gonna show you all the tricks to make that work, y'all. But this chili, man, it crushes. We've got our pot, we're gonna put on medium heat and add in a bunch of duck fat. So instead of using bacon fat, which we like, or a lot of butter, which also works here too, we're gonna start with duck fat. Then we got 1 pound of ground up chicken that we're gonna add in here and keep going till it browns up. Now, the key to a good chili is actually building flavors over time. That's why it takes a while to cook. Sometimes it's better the next day. And we're gonna layer a bunch in here that kind of changes the complexity of it, but adds a bunch of beautifulness. Just like when you're building a team for the office, get your foundational members first. Those are the base, the leaders you can kind of build around. So for a chili, we want to put the big, heavy solids in first to prevent splashing and things like that. We've got our ground chicken in there, and this is one whole rotisserie chicken that I shredded, and I poured the juice in there too, so we're getting more of that chicken fatty goodness in there. Then I got about a pound and a half of cubed up chicken breast that I grilled earlier today. To give us some thickness, which is gonna thicken over time, we're gonna throw in a whole can of tomato paste, can of some diced tomatoes and green chilies with the juices. Then we got a jar of chopped up fire roasted tomatoes. We love what that does to a chili. Bunch of chopped up white onion, some red pepper too, some color and sweetness flavor. Then we got a bunch of minced up banana peppers because I love that little bite in the back end of it. A whole mess of minced garlic. Come on, baby. Every time you add a few ingredients in there, give it a stir, start letting it mix evenly. Time to start adding some liquid ingredients. Chicken stock. Some salsa verde we made, which is basically tomatillos, garlic, some jalapenos. Then we're gonna add in 4 cans of black beans in like chili sauce, whatever sauce they have, but keep the sauce, don't drain them. These ones have chili seasoning in it. So you'll see a chili beans label maybe, but you see black beans by themselves, other different flavors. We got some Caribbean spice one in here. We like to mix up the different flavors. We like to throw in some chives. I like how the greenness looks in there and the taste. Now comes the seasoning, and this is where things get interesting with chili. So we've got in some adobo seasoning with some black pepper, a little bit of salt. We've got some cumin. Cumin's always nice, and we're using 2 types of chili powder. We got your Reg's chili powder, which really gives us that chili flavor, and then chipotle chili powder, a little smokier, doper action, and then we're gonna keep stirring this up until it's evenly mixed. Really evenly mixed. Then, cover it, put it on low, and cook it for 2 hours, maybe simmer it for a 3rd hour too. Let the flavors really bind together. The longer the better, but this can be done the day before, and then bring your crock pot to work, baby. Nothing better than walking into work, thinking it might be a tough day, and then seeing crock pots lined up, because you know, some of us might take some time away from what we're doing, which for some people is just checking their fantasy lineup 5 or 6 times and emailing their friends to grab something good like this. Every chili usually gets served with some kind of topping. Sometimes it's shredded cheese like cheddar. Other times it might be croutons. We've used cornbread before. Some people even chop up like white or red onion for an extra crunch. But we're gonna use some sour cream, but make things a little bit different that vibes really well with that. So we've got sour cream, we've got granulated garlic we're gonna throw in there, and then some dark honey. So there's a honey garlic sour cream. And dark honey versus light honey is a little bit more of an intense honey flavor. So you get really a lot of that true honey vibe going on. On top of that though, dark honey turns darker for a couple reasons. But one of them is the nectar the bees get. So whether it's like alfalfa or buckwheat or stuff like dandelions, let me see. Yeah, this is probably dandelions, which also are great ingredients for salads, potatoes. They're pretty good. So do it to your liking, and I like a lot of honey. because like me, it's kind of sweet. Mix it up evenly, and then we're just gonna use this as a dollop on top of our awesome chili. We got this chili ready, y'all. Whether you're crock potting it, doing it on the stove, it don't matter. It comes out perfect every time. You might have noticed when we made it, actually, we didn't put a lot of hot sauce in there. The chipotle, chili powder, add some. The salsa verde had some jalapenos, but we want to go more on the mild side for an office party because you want to make sure that everybody can get into it and you can add heat later. So I like some heat. I'm gonna throw in some good red pepper sauce. Give that a good even stir. Now, that beautiful sour cream we made, which looks great and it smells great, it's got a little bit of almost like a dirty looking sour cream. And you know we like a good dirty joke. In the office, be weary of telling dirty jokes. Make sure you're in a place that people feel comfortable, and be wise about that because there's no value in making someone feel uncomfortable. You gotta go for that. You should get got for that. Got a good scoop of that in there. We're also gonna throw in 1 blue and 1 white corn chip. I think the color looks kind of neat. Might throw a couple more in there just because we're having fun. And then we hit it with some cilantro. Now, I don't have the situation where cilantro tastes like dish soap to me, but some people do. You can also use parsley or green onions. We've used them both, and we'll probably bring them both to the party. Some people stir it. I don't really go that route. I like to see where it's at. I'll get a little bit of bite of it, and then winning office chili contest since day 1. Yo, every office needs a sweet treat. And to make our sweet, we brought the sweetest person I know, my favorite coworker, Amelia. What up, girl?
Nothing.
Ready to do some cooking?
Yeah.
So, an office party, right? We're with your coworkers, and your dad and Nick and everybody, they're my favorite coworkers. What do you want to be when you grow up?
I want to be a teacher.
A teacher? You'll be good at that. What do you want to teach?
School.
School, okay. School teacher, baby. I like it. Well, I'm a food teacher and a booze teacher. And we're gonna work on that today a little bit. More food than booze though, but a little of both. You ready? All right, so Amelia, this deal, right, is every office and school sometimes has someone who's a little trashy. So this office trash is named after a coworker I used to work with. Their name was Jamie, and they were super messy. They never flushed the toilet, leave papers all around, right? It looked like the living room after your dad's watching a hockey game. Stuff everywhere, beer cans, who knows what's going on. And what we're gonna do is mix a bunch of different cereals we got out of Amelia's cupboards, poking around, so you can use whatever you want. So let's start doing that. Why don't you start adding some of the stuff in here? Always taste as you go, she knows. So we got these little corn crisps, the type that used to be in the military. Okay, now we got some oats, circles, apple cinnamon, I believe. Ooh, and cinnamon rice things all woven together. What do we got there? Peanuts, cool. And mini pretzels, these are great. So Amelia, check it, ready? Okay, she's not as impressed as you should be at home. We've got this stuff mixed up. Now we're gonna throw in some cinnamon. So really, you can use anything that's in your cupboards. Any fun cereal you like as a kid or with a kid, whatever you're rolling with, but the pretzels add a little bit of saltiness too that we like. So also what we're gonna do is add in some flavored whiskey. This is walnut toffee. I love both those things. So we're just gonna put a little bit in there and hope most of it burns off while we're baking it. That's probably enough, right? All right. Okay, stir that up again. Meanwhile, while we're vigorously stirring, we're gonna make sure our oven is turned to 350 degrees. We're gonna lay it on a cookie sheet and throw it in for about 10 minutes. Okay, we got it out of the oven, 10 minutes. You don't go much longer than that. And the reason why we do this is it helps incorporate all the cinnamon and burns off some of the moisture. So we heated up 2 bags of white chocolate. You think it smells good?
Yeah.
And it melted up, and then we added in a little bit of coconut oil to give it more of a liquid and adjust the viscosity that's gonna allow us to toss it real good. So now I'm just gonna drizzle it over the top, and we're gonna keep stirring it up. Let's stir it up. Okay, I'm gonna jump in, ready? Let's do it together. Awesome. Smells so good. So now we're gonna put it onto a cookie sheet with parchment paper, and we're gonna put it into the fridge for about 10 minutes to chill, because you know who likes to chill. While my associate is checking the flavor of that chocolate, spread it evenly. So you can break it off evenly into chunks. What do you think?
Excited.
Good, all right. How's this? Does this look even?
Yeah.
In the fridge it goes. Ooh, we about to have some trash with some class. Let's break ourselves off a bite and see what happens. I love it. What do you think? Thumbs up from the boss. We good to go. You know everything's right in the office when the boss is happy. So y'all, we've partied together, but y'all are known for throwing banging office parties, so lay it down for me.
We've had one or two. I think probably our most notable parties are the Acropies, which
yeah.
you know about the Acropies, our award party. So we get together, it's our celebration, you know, everybody works hard, plays hard. But this is like, you know, it's the one time we've worked hard all year, now it's time to celebrate.
For sure.
So it's our first year in this place. We get this huge, giant, 1,500-pound concrete table being delivered that day. And then all of a sudden the guy tells me, he goes, I didn't know you guys were on the 3rd floor. He's never delivered a concrete table to the 3rd floor.
Wow.
He thought
He's
we were
ever
on the
moved
ground
his
floor.
friends in before? Like,
Right?
we do it all the time.
Yeah, but not a 1,500 pound table.
True. You just carried it on your back.
So I told him, I go, no worries, I'll get the crane company, they'll come over to Bank Alley. So we're literally loading this thing through hours before the party starting. I get 17 dudes, 17 of my buddies that carry this thing through the window, somehow make it in here with 2 minutes to spare.
Wow.
Literally get the table set up, party starts.
Get all dialed up. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, so party was great. You know, we're getting started, kind of easing our way into it a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
So we do
Slide
the
in.
awards, and all of a sudden it's going from like PG, maybe PG-13.
Escalation.
Escalated a little bit, and my mom and dad were there.
Ooh,
Obviously, they
good
loved it.
people.
Great people.
Gotta have
Yeah,
Mr.
yeah.
and Mrs. Case.
Yeah.
Gotta.
And they support, right? So then
Of
all of a
course.
sudden they're like, you know, Stevie, like, I'm so proud of you. So then all of a sudden I see him leave through the back door, and then I'm like, all right, now it's on. And then I hear somebody chant, no
cranking it.
parents!
No
All of a sudden
parents.
the DJ comes out, flip cup goes on, and then all of a sudden, like, within like a half hour, everybody's dancing on the table.
I believe I
it was
even
wild.
saw you dancing on the table.
I am not going to admit that. I don't think there's any pictures of me dancing on the
interesting.
table, but it may have happened.
I think there probably are some, but he had them deleted.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just picturing his mom like, oh, Stevie, I'm so proud of you. And as he's like kicking her out the door, all of a sudden you just hear the music crank. And all of a sudden this guy's just taking his shirt off, jumping on the table.
It's quite literally what
That
happened.
may or may not have happened.
Yeah, I mean, you know what though? You can pull it off because you guys pull off great parties. So here's to you
Hey.
and offices around the
Cheers.
world, baby.
Salud.
From side hustles to side dishes, we're all up in it when it comes to making your team tight and the party loose. We met some of our best friends at work, all from a combo of projects, pressure, letting off steam, and partying together, y'all. That's for life. I even met my wife at work, and a recent performance review at home, by the way, really positive. Coworkers, friends, man, the key is this. Make people feel heard and valued, and you're set up for success. I'm off to work. Strictly field research and team building. Spatchcock Funk is on the job.
I'ma rule the world, yeah. I'ma blow a fire, never run out.